Today I am announcing the release of a special set of FR-1x custom user sets as a free download from Roxy's music store. This download is available to anyone, regardless of where you purchased your instrument. Roxy's is providing this as a service to the Roland V-Accordion community to help promote the instrument, as well as to promote a more modern approach to playing it. To get the free download, click the links in the text description section of this video. It consists of 4 user sets, which when installed into your FR-1x at user locations U1 through U4, will increase the number of orchestral sounds available on your FR-1x from 16 to 64. Of course, these user sets require that you install the Alpine and the Accordion Orchestra sound expansion kits into your instrument. Expansion kits that are available also as a free download, but from Roland's website. We also provide a PDF documentation that lists the exact register button locations of all 64 sounds in our user sets. You will notice from that documentation that the sounds are organized in a special way, which I will explain in this video. With the Alpine and Accordion Orchestra expansion kits installed, the number of orchestral sounds within the instrument is over 150. However, on the 1X, you can only make 64 immediately available at one time. So we had to choose. We gave preference to sounds that contain natural sustain for the reason that they work so well with the bellows action of an accordion. In our user sets, you'll find such sounds as saxophone, clarinet, strings, and flutes, as opposed to electronic pianos and guitars that decay. In addition, we've organized the sounds into the user set locations such that similar instruments are grouped together, thus facilitating the auditioning of each instrument to see which version you may prefer for playing different genres of music or for playing different individual songs. In U1, we provide numerous sax and clarinet sounds. I can't play them all, but here are a few. In U2, we provide numerous strings, human voices, and even a mandolin. In U3, we have numerous trumpets and horns. In U4, we provide various flutes. And although pluck strings are not our favorites for bellows action, we did provide in U4 a single guitar, a banjo, as well as fantasy, and marimba. Now you may be thinking that by organizing similar instruments within the same user sets, that will require you to switch between user sets to provide contrasting instrument sounds within one of your own song performances. Won't that be inconvenient? Well, that's a good question, and it shows that you're thinking. But there's a very good answer, and it is the whole point of these user sets. You see, when playing your best performances to audiences, you should not be playing within a set. Rather, you should be taking advantage of the user program feature to conveniently access all areas of the instrument within the same song, not just what is available within a single set. Indeed, you should be taking advantage of a more modern playing technique that we call saved multi-part orchestrations. It's a well-established playing technique on all modern electronic instruments, such as arranger keyboards, and it allows you to provide better, more professional-sounding performances that, as a bonus, are much easier to play. Let me demonstrate. To allow you to focus on the playing technique rather than the music, I will use as an example a very simple practice piece that any beginner-level accordionist can play. Even me. You know it as Ode to Joy. Suppose I want to start playing my song using musette reeds, as one would expect for such a performance from an accordionist. But instead of selecting a particular set, I press the User Program button to access a previously created multi-part orchestration. And then, instead of pressing the musette reed combination, which on a 1x in most sets is location 3B, I activate the first user program location, which on the 1x is called 1A. In other words, to start playing part 1 of my song, I activate the first user program location. Pretty simple, right? Now I can start playing. Did you notice that I was using orchestral bass sounds? I had previously saved them at user program location 1A. Hence, they came up automatically. Now, here's the most important part that will demonstrate my whole point, as well as the purpose of Roxy's user sets. Suppose at this point in the song I want to switch to an orchestral sound on the treble side. How about a human voice sound? But rather than go to the Set and Register button location where that sound resides, I press instead the next user program location, which on the 1x is 1B. Do you see the advantage here? To play the second part of my song, regardless of the actual location of the orchestral sound on my instrument, I activated the second user program location, which found it for me automatically. Simple, don't you think? Now I'd like to play both sounds, accordion and human voice, together. Normally, this would require switching playing modes from solo to dual, which is not so easy to do quickly if I was playing within a set. But all I need to do is activate the next user program location, which on the 1x is 2A. Did you hear both voices at once? I can continue in this same manner. The next user program location is 2B, and it returns me to accordion reed sounds. But this time, 1 octave up. Yet I don't have to move my hand. The instrument will switch octaves for me automatically. That's because I activated the octave up feature of the instrument when I created that user program, saving me from having to do it myself when playing the song. Now I'd like to switch to a French horn, which resides in a completely different user set and register button location than the previous orchestral sound. But I don't have to switch sets myself, and I don't have to remember the register button location of the French horn. The next user program location button does it all for me automatically. Finally, I finish the song by playing both the French horn and accordion reeds layered together. But wait a minute, you say. What if I want to play a different song? In which case, I will have to reprogram all the user program location buttons to represent different reed combinations, orchestral, organ, and percussion sounds, and perhaps even instrument playing modes as well, according to how I want to play that new song. Do I then lose my first orchestration? Will I have to manually reprogram the buttons every time I want to play a song that I orchestrated and played in the past? Of course not. Like all modern electronic instruments, the FR-1x supports the saving of all your song orchestrations onto a USB flash drive or memory stick. Note that when the FR-1x does this, it saves all of its 8 user program locations as a group, often referred to as a user program bank, into one file on the USB flash drive. The FR-1x automatically generates a numeric file name for it. Once this is done, the file representing My Ode to Joy performance then becomes a saved multi-part orchestration, which I am free anytime in the future to reload or import back into the instrument on an as-needed basis during my onstage performances. Well, of course, I don't consider My Ode to Joy to really be an onstage performance. I don't honestly expect such a simple practice piece to genuinely entertain an audience. It's just an example to show you how you can deliver better orchestral variety to your audiences. You know, I often see FR-1x owners writing down on their sheet music or in a book all the settings of their instrument that they want to use to play each individual song in their onstage performances. But that's silly. For one thing, it requires that you enter all instrument feature selections manually while on stage. The audience must wait while you push a variety of buttons to set up your instrument. Not only that, once your instrument is set up, it does not represent a complete orchestration. It's only the starting point. To add orchestral variety after you start playing, you must select features manually on the fly. It's a lot easier to push user program location buttons. By saving to USB memory, your FR-1x can easily recall not just the starting point, but the complete multi-part orchestration for as many songs as you wish. So you say, exactly how does one recall or load previously created and saved song orchestrations from the USB flash drive during an onstage performance? Simple. After finishing my first song, I press the user program button to leave user program mode. I then press and hold the set button. The display shows the most recently accessed parameter, UPG, also known as user program load, which I previously used to load my first song. I then press either the number 1 or number 2 register button. The display shows me my previous song orchestration selection. It was song number 15. Yes, I do have to keep track of which song each number represents. Suppose now I want to play for the audience La Paloma, which I know from my cheat sheet I have previously orchestrated and saved as song number 27. I press and hold register button number 2 until the display indicates 027. And then I press the User Program button. The display indicated the loading operation and then returned me to the instrument's main page. I now press the User Program button, followed by User Program Location button 1A. And now I'm ready to start playing part 1 of my La Paloma orchestration. And again, as I said earlier, I not only have access to the starting point of the song, I have a complete orchestration of up to 8 parts. To play part 2, I activate the next User Program Location, which is 1B. To play part 3, I again activate the next User Program Location, which is 2A. And I am not locked into playing the song only one way. If I want, I can reactivate previous User Program Locations, such as 1A. This allows me to play a later part of the song using exactly the same orchestral conditions as I used for part 1. It's up to me. It's my orchestration, and I can play it the way I like. Now compare that to setting up your instrument for each song manually. Even with simple orchestrations like mine, it would require that you activate a particular set, make selections in the bass note section, the bass chord section, the treble orchestra section or organ section, and possibly even the percussion section. I'm sorry, that's an awful lot of work just to play one song, especially with my audience impatiently waiting. And again, I emphasize, it would represent only the starting point, giving me limited ability to provide orchestral variety. People who do not use the saved multi-part orchestration playing technique have a hard time delivering orchestral variety. They can't compete against an equally skilled musician who does. In the title screen of this video, I called these free user set downloads orchestration user sets. And now you can understand why. They are designed specifically for someone wanting to create multi-part orchestrations for their performances. By grouping similar instruments together within the same set, for example, 7 sax sounds within U1, you are easily able to browse through them to determine which particular one best suits your needs at the time. You can even create orchestrations that use different sax sounds in different parts. This gives your performance a more genuine quality. It's a technique that is used often with keyboard players whose instruments provide thousands of sounds. In conclusion, if you are inspired by what I have said in this video about the multi-part orchestration playing technique and you want to experiment it yourself on an FR-1x, you may find these free Roxy's orchestration user sets valuable in your work. However, if you are someone who uses a set-oriented approach to playing the instrument, they will be less valuable. Of course, they will give you immediate access to 64 different orchestral sounds as opposed to only 16. You may like that. But compared to Roland's regular factory sets, these Roxy user sets will not allow you to so easily select contrasting sounds while playing within a single set. For example, if you activate set U1, you will be stuck with sax and clarinet sounds. If you want a flute, you'll have to change to set U4. Not so convenient. Yet, if you adopt the more modern technique of orchestrating your performances within user program banks, you will be better able to apply the full orchestral variety of your instrument to each part of your performances. The more orchestral variety you provide within a single song to your audiences, the more they will appreciate your music, and the more successful will be the V-Accordion as an instrument. It is in that spirit that we at Roxy's are providing these orchestration user sets for free download. Everyone at Roxy's wishes you success with your FR-1x. And by the way, if you are playing the new FR-4x and you would like to see Roxy's publish similar orchestration user sets for that instrument as well, let them know. Call them and ask to speak to either Ben or Rose and tell them that you would like Leon to develop FR-4X Roxy's orchestration user sets for free download. I'll be happy to do so if enough people are interested.